where I had kind of a break-in into my house, and I never found out who it was, but like just the previous week there was a drunk guy like knocking on my door, and he knew my name, he knew where I worked.
Racism, and basically what have you experienced in the workplace, out of the workplace, social settings, shopping with friends that are Korean, ajashis, ajumas, subways, everything and everything. And what advice can you give someone that's getting ready to come to Korea or thinking about it, that they can expect and how it might make you feel? And I'm going to go around the table. Candace is Indo-Saram from South Africa. She's Indian descent. Jade is Scandinavian descent, but American. And Catherine is half Caucasian, half Filipino. So we have a good mix here, good reflection of it all. So talk amongst yourselves.
Start.
Do your thing again.
I guess for me, like I'm lucky because I have the look that Koreans are looking for when they want like a Western teacher. So I haven't had too much in the way of racism, but I'll get the occasional ajashi that comes up and thinks I'm Russian, and then Russian. No, I'm not Russian. Yeah, you might not know, but like Russian, at least in Busan, it's kind of code for prostitutes. There's a large population of Russians that work within like the shipping industry, so prostitutes have also come along with it. So when they ask if I'm Russian, they're not asking if I'm Russian. They're asking if I'm open for business, so to speak. And that's like, I think for me, like the worst racism I'll really get. Past that, it's just like when you ride a taxi and you get the person, it doesn't matter if you ask them in Korean or in English. It's like, I want to go here, and they're just...
So they won't bring you to where you're...
They won't carry you.
That's interesting. Does that happen to you?
Yeah.
Really? That's happened to you?
Or when you want a taxi,
Really?
they'll nod.
Maybe that's happened to me once, but it was only after I started speaking English. Maybe that's what you were talking about.
Because you at least look.
No one ever expects it.
Yeah.
No one. They always are. It's the opposite. They're always shocked. They're like, "You're not original Korean. You don't speak." You know. But because they're taken aback, they just thought that I was Korean.
And it's like this happened to us a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
When because usually you go into the taxi, but then sometimes people ask beforehand, like, "Oh, can you take me here?" before they get in. And I was with Jade, and we asked the taxi driver, "Can you take us here?" And it was a very obvious place. I said the name of the university, and it was only like a 2-minute drive. And he was like, "Nope, bye," and he sped off. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Wow.
There's
that
sometimes
rarely happens.
sometimes they will say no, and then other times they will, like, you'll be walking and you don't even want a taxi, but they'll be driving alongside you because they think you want a taxi, or you shouldn't be taking the bus because you don't know where you're going. And they get very surprised when you enter the taxi and you greet them in Korean. They get surprised, and then they assume you're fluent in Korean just because you said hello in Korean.
The floodgates open, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you say the name of the place is obviously a Korean name, but now, this person is fluent, let me have a conversation with them. How long have you been in Korea?
Always, yeah.
It's always the same, like 3 questions too.
How long have you been in Korea? What do you do? Are you married?
Yeah.
No, I'm not married. Do you have a boyfriend? No. Do you want a boyfriend?
That's what I noticed too. It's all or nothing with Koreans. If you speak a little bit, like, oh, you must know everything. And I don't know about like reading and writing. It's easy to read and write. You don't know what you're reading, but you can do it. They think, oh, she's reading it out loud. She must know what it means.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Coming back to the racism issue.
Yeah.
For me, they are very taken aback by my skin color. And I get, some of them ask me if I'm from India, because I am Indian, so I have that Indian look. So they ask me if I'm Indian. Then others ask me to touch my skin because they think I colored my skin, you know? So they touch my skin and then they, oh, so soft. And they like rub to see if the color is gonna come out. Then my palm is a different tone from my hand, but everybody's palm is different, right?
Oh, everyone's palms, I noticed, are just like generally white.
White.
Like, it doesn't matter the color.
Then they say, how come it's two different colors? Why is, like other gorillas, everything is covered with, how come? And those are the Korean people. And then sometimes the old ladies will be, oh, you're so beautiful, and all that. The old men will just stare at you. The children are the rude ones, actually, because they will point and they know you are foreign. You just stand down. And sometimes there's a few that will come up to you and say, can I take a picture with you? Because you look different. It's like a celebrity status.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then there's the other foreigners, the Middle Eastern people, will think I'm authentic Indian. So they come up to me, do you speak English? And they say it in broken English with a thick Indian accent. And I'll be, excuse me, or pardon. And I'm fluent in English. So they, oh, where are you from? So they get surprised as well. And then Koreans ask me if English is my first language and if I was taught English. So they're just very surprised with how come you look this way but you can speak English.
My experience is a little bit different from you guys because I'm half Asian, so 95% of the time when I'm just walking in the street or if I'm on the bus, people don't really notice me. And they probably just assume she's Korean because everyone else on the bus is Korean. So yeah, I pretty much go unnoticed when I'm just like walking around by myself. It's mostly like when I'm with my foreign friends, then they're like, oh yeah, she's foreign. But other than that, I mean, when my coworkers, when they find out, because they're so curious, they're like, why do you look like us? And like, why do you look Korean? Like my kids always assume that I'm Korean. They're like, oh, 한국사람? And I'm like, no, I'm not Korean. And so my coworkers, they've asked, like, why do you look Korean? And I tell them, like, well, my mom, she's from the Philippines, and so she's Asian. But then they always have this, like, taken aback kind of look, and they're like, well, like, Filipinos are darker. And I think there's kind of like a stigma with other Southeast Asian countries here in Korea, just
because they work in the factory.
Yeah. So there
They assume
are,
everyone is like that.
Yeah.
And you're illegally. Only when you say, I'm an English teacher, then they're, oh, okay. So it creates like a sort of status thing. Because when you are not an English teacher, then you're probably a factory worker or you're here illegally. So they treat you differently. It's that. Because I found that Koreans are very superficial and they like to class everywhere.
That's just, I mean, that's partially not their fault because that's just the way their whole society is structured. So it's just like the way they work things out, like going back to like the Confucian social hierarchy. So it's understandable given like what they're raised in, but it's totally foreign to us to think like that.
Catherine, have you ever felt like uncomfortable in any situation, like either in school or anything? Like, have you ever been in a situation where you're kind of like, they're trying to look down on me, or just they're trying to peg me as being slightly lower than them, these certain people?
Sometimes, I mean, I know like they don't mean to do it, it's kind of like an unconscious thing for them, but they do like make kind of side comments like, oh well, like the Philippines is not really like a good country, this and that, or they say something like, well, like your mom, so she's not American, is she? And like, but she is American. She immigrated to America, so they do kind of like. It's more of like an ignorance thing. It's not because they mean to be, and I understand that. So it's not. It's a lot different from I think what you guys experience. Yeah.
I had one of my teachers at school. They were asking where I was from, and I was like, I'm American. They're like, no, where are your parents from? They're from America.
Yeah.
I'm like, your parents' parents. They're from America. And I was like.
Well, in my first year, I noticed them looking at me more, especially the old ladies. That they're just fascinated with the way I look, and they always comment on the size of my face because Koreans, the ideal face is a small face. I didn't even notice I had a small face until I moved to Korea, and everybody was like, small face. A small face is the size of your fist, apparently.
But they mean that as a compliment.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe I've become, it developed an ego also, of sorts, where everybody's, oh, so beautiful, small face. So they're just fascinated with the way I look. And if I'm with Tom, because they think he's Korean, I'll get dirty looks, like, why is this foreign girl with our Korean man? And then he'll start speaking in English, and then they're like, okay, never mind. And then they'll get back to the
It's
conversation.
okay, you can take him. He's
He's yours now. But if he's just looking at me and smiling and listening to what I'm saying, then they'll have that look of confusion and frustration. Like, no, that's not right.
They have like no secrets when it comes to their expressions though. Like if they're interested, they're interested.
Yeah, they have no tact whatsoever. But as soon as he speaks English, then they get back to what it was. But sometimes if they see me walking down the street and the friends are busy talking, the one friend will call, they'll tap, say, look at the foreigner. And they do it so it's very obvious that they're talking about you.
I did that once. I was at the beach and I went into the little changing stalls they have. You know, it's Korea, so it's just like a group sort of shower, and there's like people all different ages. They're all changing. So I start getting changed, and a little girl's like, like there's a foreigner, and I look at her like, like just to be like, yes, I understand you, and you know, not everyone is going to be like, I don't know any Korean whatsoever. I think it's definitely like, I don't like being pointed out, but I think if you just kind of accept it for what it is, chances are they haven't seen that many. I think with the younger kids, they definitely chance that they have a teacher in either a Hagwon or at least their public school, so they're at least seeing more and more, but it's still like slowly changing, and it's we're still kind of new. But
that does bring to mind. You know, I do the volunteering, and there's always new volunteers. So before we go to an event, then we meet at a subway station. And so every month, then there's this huge group of foreigners meeting there for the first time, and like everyone's like talking, and they're like, you know, introducing themselves, and we're a little bit louder than Koreans, and you know, all foreigners, we stick out, and it's a big group. So every month, there's always one older drunk man, and he comes up to us and he like kind of harasses us and like tells the group like in Korean, he's like speaking in Korean, he's like spitting at us like as he's speaking, like get out and like go away, like get away from here, and he like tells us that always, like consistently every month, and it's always a different man, but it's only just the one man, and then everyone, like all the other Koreans that are passing by, they always like give him like dirty looks, like what, like this man is giving like our country a bad name to these foreigners, you know. So like They do, and sometimes like there are like a young like Korean young adult man who usually like comes up and like tells like the old man like, oh, you know, just calm down, or like let's walk away, let's go away, and he does kind of like stands up for us. So like
I think it's hard for the older generation though,
Yeah, it
because
is.
they grew up in a time where Korea was very closed off, or at least just opening up. So it is different for them to get used to, whereas the young people are used to seeing us. They're like, oh, you know, people do live here that are different.
I think if you come into Korea, you should come with an open mind and with a sense of humor as well.
exactly
Because you will not survive if you don't have a sense of humor. There's always drunk people on the subway. I remember this one time we were coming home from Korean class actually, and there's this big group of us on the subway, and this man just starts yelling at us, and we don't even know what he's saying. It's just random words that we picked up, like get out or why are you here, and then another gentleman on the subway called security, and when the train stopped at the next station, they pulled him out. Because for them, they don't want to give all Koreans bad names. We all appreciate that you're in our country. It's the same way how we would feel bad if a foreigner acts out in Korea, because it gives us all that bad image. We're not all bad. It's the same, yeah. So there's a few of the old men, I think, especially when they are drunk and late at night, that's when they will harass you. But other than that, like during the day, the worst form of racism would be them pointing and saying, there's a foreigner. It's like how if you would walk in Hollywood and you see a celebrity who point and say, oh, there's so-and-so.
Yeah, that's good.
So just, like now, being here 4 years, I don't even notice them looking at me. And my friend who's been here for 6 months, she says, didn't you see that person looking at you? Where?
Yeah,
Because you get those.
Yeah, like because you just don't have to.
vision.
Yeah, you don't have to notice. Have you ever like gone to a Korean restaurant and you're with all foreigners and they think you don't know what to do, so they'll just like cook your food for you? Like if you get samgyeopsal, they just come up and they do it. You're just like, sweet. Like, yeah. I think that kind of stuff is nice. Like oh, this, you know, they don't know what to do, so we'll help them.
Right,
And I do feel like I do get a lot of that too. So
you get like a lot of star treatment here because you're a foreigner.
so it's not all bad.
Yeah, most of it is actually good. Like what you said, like, they like to help out
Yeah.
you. And it's good.
Yeah, they're pretty, they're good people.
Yeah.
And that they really are just happy to help and like make you feel welcome. There's always going to be like the one bad egg anywhere you go, really. It's just that like, we live here, so of course we're going to like notice it and take like kind of like not mark it up, but remember like, oh, this happened last time I was here too. But I think the nice things are easy to forget because we're so used to it.
The goodness of Koreans just outweighs the bad, and it just makes it easier and makes you stay comfortable. But if you're one of those people who gets fussed up about every little thing and you don't have a sense of humor, then you're gonna find it really difficult and you're gonna hate Korea. But if you easygoing and have a sense of humor, then you can live here for 4 years.
And
more.
and you're a good person to say that because you've been here how long?
4 years.
And you're in your 5th year though, right?
Going into 5 years.
Going into 5 years. So to do that, that's not a short-term thing. So you need to really be able to roll with the punches. And you've been here how long, Katja?
This is my 3rd year.
You're in your 3rd year.
Yeah, I'm in my 3rd year.
Same thing.
I've only been here a year and a half. What? No, I think it's good advice though, really for anywhere you travel though. It's, you know, this is Asia, it's Korea, it's going to be different from wherever we were raised.
I volunteer at 3 different orphanages. Boys Town and Girls Town and Soyoung orphanages. I love the kids. They're just so full of love and they're really welcoming, even though they can be shy sometimes. We just like to have fun and, you know, we teach them English, but we mostly just have fun with them. And yeah, it's a lot of fun.
What would you say to somebody watching this who's thinking of coming to Korea and they want to do volunteer stuff?
I would say definitely come out and enjoy Korean life, but also you can do something good and volunteer and meet a bunch of people.